All right, how is everybody? We are live. It is Nick here with Sales Commanders. We're here talking about kvCORE today. We're doing some live training. So good afternoon to everybody, or if you're in West Coast time, good morning. Hope everyone is doing really well. Let me know where you guys are all at in the comments. Say hello. Come join the call. I love seeing all the comments and everybody checking in with us on these calls. So let me know where you guys are at. What's going on this week? What you got going on? If you're down in Cabo or following maybe AJ and the guys down in Cabo, let me know what you're most jealous of. Is it the yacht? Is it the it's a meeting? Some of those, big speakers like billionaire Grant Cardone. Tell me a little bit about, what you got going on this week. Say hello. Let me know how you guys are doing, where you guys are tuning in from. I hope everyone is doing really well and having a great week. I'm excited to bring some awesome kvCORE training today. We have some really good stuff that we're going to get into. Going to be talking about basically lead follow-up and nurture and conversion, how to use the tools of kvCORE to automate some of the follow-up and nurture that you have going on. So again, today we're going to be talking about how to nurture your leads in kvCORE based on how much they've engaged with your system. So there are levels to this stuff. All right, guys. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here in just a second. Pull that up. Head over here to kvCORE. And we're going to get right into this stuff, guys. So I want to start out in today's training by sharing with you all, again, we're here on this homepage, this dashboard when you first log into kvCORE, and you're going to see that people are always constantly looking at homes if you are sending them homes. Okay. So, your website on kvCORE where you are emailing your leads or can email your leads based on a search criteria, homes that match what they're looking for. And this is very valuable because you want to continue to drive leads to your website. You want to keep that lead flow very, very high. You want to make sure that the traffic on your site is consistent and people are coming back so that you can continue following up. If someone hasn't gotten an email for you in, months, then they're not likely to pick up and be very warm when you call them and follow up. So you want to make sure that you are sending your clients listings from kvCORE, not from your local MLS. And that is something that's very important to do. And that's a clear distinction here. So I'll give you guys an example. We're going to go over here to this left side. And we're going to click onto this Smart CRM tab here. We're going to go over to the Smart CRM section. I'm just going to click on a random lead here, John, for example, and on his profile here. So again, just clicking on one of these leads here. So I'm clicking on John's profile. You're going to see that's going to show all the correspondence of the different text messages, campaigns that are added, when he was registered, what emails were sent, and you can even click on the emails and get a preview, see what he was sent, okay? So you can see all of the different correspondence between you and this lead. You can also see if the lead was validated, so you can say, okay, yes, it was an excellent lead, validated, here's the location. You even found Foursquare. I'm not sure what kind of social media profile that is, but it does scan the internet for their profiles if they've used that number or email to create an account on something. So this timeline here, when you click on the lead, is going to show you the sequence of events. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about these search alerts here, but I'm going to do that in 1 second right after we talk about the lead status, okay? Because as I mentioned, guys, I just clicked on John because he's a new lead that came into my system last week, all right? So he's relatively new, and I haven't heard anything from John. So when someone comes into your website and they register as a lead, they sign up for information. Maybe they're on your website and they are looking at a home and they inquire more information, or they've clicked on enough homes that it brings up the forced registration page, right? kvCORE will bring up this page, and I'll show you guys an example. It'll bring up this little link. It'll say, hey, if you want to view more information, you have to sign up. And so I'm just going to log out of my own site because it won't show it if I don't have that. But let's say, for example, I went and clicked on something here and I looked at enough properties. It's going to bring up this page right here, which is going to say, please register for advanced features. Please, register so you can see all of the information. So then when you go and put in your email, for example, and then you put in your cell phone number here, then it's going to allow you to continue. They can also obviously continue with Facebook or Google, but this is how leads come into your website. So, for those of you that are new out there, Anybody that doesn't know how this actually happens, they think it's just like magic beans or whatever. No, this is in fact how it works on your site. So you have leads that come in and they can get to this forced registration kind of paywall, for example, sort of feature, and they get to this place, and this is where they put in their information. They hit continue. They can continue with Facebook or Google, and then they pop over into your CRM. But it is very important to note that they come into your CRM as their status as new lead. Okay, and so their status is kvCORE's way of just qualifying how warm a lead is, what stage in the home buying or home selling process this particular person is. Okay, so again, status is just a way that kvCORE kind of delineates the different types of leads. In other CRMs, you may have statuses and tags that are like, for example, warm or cold or hot or nurture or things like that. And so kvCORE just names them different things. And so I'm going to do a quick rundown of kind of how I categorize these. This may or may not be exactly how you want to categorize these, and you can do them differently. There's no real structure that everybody has to use in kvCORE, but it is important to note that when a new lead that is a buyer comes into your system, which means that they've clicked on a home, they've reached this paywall here, this registration wall here, and they put in their information, they do come in as new lead. If you are using a seller squeeze page, however, or if someone is being asked to force register through the home valuation page, then they will actually come in as a prospect, not a new lead, and they will be labeled a seller. That is an important distinction. So any buyers will come in as new lead, any sellers will come in as prospect, and they'll be labeled sellers if you're using a seller squeeze page or a home valuation page is filled out on your website. So that's important to note. That's how they are initially labeled for their status when they come into kvCORE. Okay, but that doesn't mean that that's all you have to use it for. So for example, for Sphere, I label people Sphere. Obviously, Sphere is pretty self-explanatory. Friends, family, other networks, connections, people that aren't necessarily a lead, and people that you, most importantly, don't want to be spamming with like a campaign or something like that, for example. Okay, so Sphere, generally speaking, is someone you want in your database so that you can send out a mass email, maybe like holiday campaigns or newsletters and things like that, but you don't necessarily want them getting market reports or search alerts or things like that all the time, right? So that would be Sphere. Prospect, again, I just explained that when you're using a seller squeeze page or you have them coming in from a home valuation, they do come in as prospect, but they are labeled sellers. You can put people as prospect as a buyer, and generally the way I use prospect is sort of like a long-term nurture, okay? I have a custom campaign that I've developed, and obviously for those of you out there that want a custom campaign and want the same campaigns that I use, my team uses in kvCORE, have been super successful with, you can go to learnkv.com and you can get those campaigns. So again, learnkv.com. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that later, though, obviously. We have these campaigns that are essentially there to do and fill one purpose, okay? I've seen some of the default campaigns. Actually, I've seen all the default campaigns in kvCORE, and they're all junk, in my opinion, okay? And there's a lot of people out there who have better campaigns you can try and put together and all this stuff. I actually have a team that will put our campaigns into your system, have them automatically triggered, the whole 9 yards. Again, you can check that out, learnkv.com. But if you have gone through the process of creating your own campaign, or maybe you're in the process of creating one right now, maybe watching one of my YouTube videos on how to do that, then what you'll want to know from the start is what's the purpose of the campaign? What's the purpose of the campaign? What's the result I am trying to achieve at the end of this campaign? And quite simply, it is this. If you have a smart campaign, you shouldn't have one that runs for like 2 years and continues to pester people on and on and on. Okay, you should have an initial campaign that goes out that achieves this one goal, which is to take the pulse to self-qualify your leads. All right, it is only trying to elicit a response. It is trying to say, hey, are you a real lead? Are you not a time waster? Are you alive? Do you have a pulse, right? Are you good? Are you looking for something now? Are you serious? Or are you not going to respond at all and you're wasting my time? That's the entire purpose of a drip campaign. If it does not achieve that purpose, if there are messages that are going out that don't help you achieve this goal, then it's not an effective campaign. Okay, and in my opinion, these campaigns should run about 30 to 60 days. The initial campaigns that we're talking about. And those are how long ours run, because the point is the last step of your campaign, if you have not received a single response, if you haven't gotten a single message, at the end of the campaign, it is to change the status of the lead automatically from new lead to prospect. That's the goal. So if someone comes in as a new lead and they're a buyer, and they're getting all these messages, they're getting hit with text messages, they're getting hit with emails that are going out, and they don't respond for the entire length of the campaign. Then on the last day of the campaign, day 30, day 60, it's going to say, well, if no responses and you've hit this 60-day mark, you're going to change them to prospect. That way it can trigger a long-term nurture campaign, which is going to be very different messaging. These are going to be messages just to revive that lead. Right. So again, for initial campaign, take a pulse, try to elicit response. This long-term nurture campaign that can be triggered when they're moved to prospect is more of a, touching base, trying to revive that lead, see if you can catch them off guard and you bring them some sort of value or catchy headline or tag subject that is going to get a response, get them to re-engage with your system. So it isn't very important, again, that these new leads and your campaigns are set up correctly. And again, go check on YouTube. You can check out learnkv.com for our team, for our campaigns, the ones that we have, and those kinds of things. But generally speaking, when you have these new leads, that is all they're there for. You shouldn't have people that are in your CRM for months and months and months, 2 years old, that are still labeled new lead. At that point, they are definitely prospect, in my opinion, because they are somebody that you've tried connecting with. They never responded. So now they're in the prospect, or I like to kind of equivalent prospect to nurture, kind of long-term nurture prospects. And these are people that, again, you're trying to revive and become more active again. So again, we've covered sphere, we've covered prospect, covered new lead. Active lead is, again, someone that has elicited a response. They are live. They have a pulse. Your campaigns went out. Maybe you're sending them search alerts now, and they said, hey, I like this one, or hey, I'm not really interested at this moment. Even someone like that, I would kind of label an active lead. Even someone that responds, someone just says no, or screw you, or don't message me again. Obviously, that's not an active lead. Someone responds though, and they're like, hey, I'm just not interested right at the time, or like right now. They mention anything about like, hey, I'm not interested, but they say something like at the moment or right this second. There's still someone I would consider an active lead because, okay, they're real. They responded. They gave you a response. And there's a way in which you can take that conversation about timeline. Say, great, well, what is your time frame? Oh, I'm not interested for another 6 months. Well, actually, 6 months is not that long, right? 6 months comes around. That's right around the corner. That's right away. It's an opportunity for you to get ahead of the game, right? Especially in this market, something might come up sooner. So even someone that says, hey, I'm not interested at the moment, I would still consider to be an active lead. And that's an important delineation for you guys to realize. But again, if someone does respond positively, they say, hey, I like this house, or hey, can you call me? Or they respond to a text message in any sort of kind of neutral or positive way, I would consider them to be an active lead. And then you have these clients down here. And obviously we know clients in the general practice of real estate, someone you have a signed agreement with. But I would say that in kvCORE terms, client also would extend to not only someone you have a buyer agency or a signed listing agreement with, but also most likely someone that you have potentially shown a home to, maybe gotten working with real estate agreements signed, or any sort of anything that basically you've met them in person, you've had real phone calls, you have something signed, maybe not quite all the way buyer agency. If that's not how you handle things, you have had meaningful conversations, contacts, shown a property, met these people in person. I would consider you labeling them client, so you can distinguish between just active lead and client. And obviously anybody that you have buyer agency with, you want to make sure that they are also labeled as a client. And so that's how I would distinguish that level there. Contract, obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory, the contract. And then closed, you have all of your past clients, people you have closed deals with, and they, anybody in your database that you have as past client, you're going to label as closed there. And then we have archived finally, and archived is your trash bin. This is essentially where And instead of wanting to delete people, you still want them somewhat in your CRM, but you don't want them clogging it up. You archive them, you throw them in the archive bin. They will disappear from your rows in CRM unless you specifically search for archived, and then they will pop up, but they won't show up and clog your CRM database. So they won't come in here and show up in here under status. Like there won't be a whole bunch of people archived that are in your CRM. But if you went and clicked on filter and you searched specifically for archived, then they would all pick up there, and there would be a whole bunch of them there. And that's how you would delineate archive. Essentially your trash bin, but they're not quite deleted. It doesn't take as long as having to go in and manually delete each person as well. You can just click on status, archive them, or just kind of like put everybody to archive if you don't like the whole group of them, and then they'll all disappear from here. But you can always kind of revive them later and find them at a later date if you in fact needed to. They're not completely deleted from your system. All right, so those are these different statuses. And this is all very helpful, I think, for a lot of you guys, because it's going to help you really determine the categorization of your database, really understand how to organize your leads in your system. And it's also important because what we're talking about next, which is this alerts tab right here. So if everyone sees where I'm clicking, see where my cursor's hovering, we're hovering over this timeline right next to his name. Okay, and again, this is where timeline is, different correspondence. But right next to timeline is alerts. And you can see here in alerts that you can have 2 different property alerts set for a particular client. And as you can see, these 6 homes are going to be sent out next. I have John, it looks like, set up on every couple days, twice a week, every 3 days, twice a week, to send him homes that match the search criteria as following. Single family, Charlotte, 3+ bedrooms, between 200, 300,000. As you can see at the time that I'm doing this video, 48 homes are all we have in the Charlotte region that match that criteria, which is insanely low inventory, as we know, like insanely low. Okay, so you can see that the frequency here, I'm not bugging him a whole lot because John's still a new lead. Haven't received any kind of communications from John yet. He hasn't really, responded to anything I've sent him. Okay, but here's what's interesting, guys. He received a couple emails from the campaigns. And then I set him up on, when I was doing a training the other day, I set him up on this search alert and started sending him homes from my website, not from the MLS, because kvCORE is an IDX from the MLS, pulls the same information. You just get to see way more information, way more details. For example, I can see that he actually opened this email yesterday, right after I sent it. The email was sent at 9:34. Guess what? He opened the email 9:38. He didn't click on the homes because I would have seen every single home that he looked at. I can at least see, okay, look, John is still a new lead, still hasn't said nothing to me. We haven't connected yet. But guess what? He did open that email. So that is important to note. And it's valuable information that you get. And it's something that, again, you guys should be paying attention to, because this is where you can connect with your leads and kind of see who's active. So I can see here, he opened the email. All right. He didn't respond to it, but he did open it. He's a live lead. So that's great. So now I can know that, okay, I'm sending him stuff that may be caught. So when I go and call him again and follow up again, I can know that, and even maybe I'll know to call him right in the morning because he opened it at 9:38, right? Did you guys see that too? You can see here, he opened this email at 9:38 a.m. So it's very interesting. Okay, well, he opened it 9:38. He got his email right away, opened it as soon as he got it. Interesting there. I'm getting information. This is all stuff you would not get from your MLS. You wouldn't get these kinds of emails, information from your MLS. It would most likely only show you when they favored a property or when they maybe logged in to the website. But being able to see when someone opened your email or how many times, because even if they've opened it multiple times, it'll even show you that. And it'll even show you every single house that they clicked on, not even the ones they saved, just the ones they viewed. Okay, so the whole point is you can delineate, from here when they've opened stuff. And then you can even go in and, when you're creating these search alerts, I'm not really going to go through this in detail because this is pretty self-explanatory, being able to set up the alert based on their search criteria. The only notes I'll make is, for here, like with these options, really only to use one of these because this is an and feature. So if you use like single car garage and double car garage, it's actually going to break it because it's an and feature. So I would really only try to use one option feature here. But I mean, you're setting these search alerts. You can type in different areas and add a bunch of areas here and type them in, or you can even draw on the map. So like literally I can go in here, I can draw an area just by clicking draw area, and I can close the loop, and boom, I can draw areas on, hit apply selection. So it's all pretty self-explanatory, very, very similar to most of you guys, MLSs and everything, bedrooms, bathrooms, price range, the whole nine. The reason I wanted to show you guys this is because of this here with free kvCORE here. It's very interesting. kvCORE here down at frequency, they give you a lot more options than I'll say most CRMs do. I've seen a lot of CRMs either daily or weekly. Those are your only options. Or it's like ASAP, daily, or monthly even, or something like that. They don't give you like options on how frequently you want to message these people. I like it gives you a lot of options here. ASAP, daily, twice a week, once a week, twice a month, monthly. So you have a lot of different ways in which you can use kvCORE to send a whole bunch of listings to your clients. On this market, I'm doing a lot of ASAP. Why? Because, I mean, for people that are actively searching, all my clients, I pretty much all have them on ASAP, because when some listing hits the market, rather, I mean, there's 20 offers in a day. So even when it's coming soon, you want them to get it as soon as possible. And so kvCORE will be updated because it's an MLS IDX feed. Usually around like within 15 minutes, they get that email. So I usually put people on ASAP if they're active. If there's someone, again, that's maybe new lead, someone that I haven't really spoken to yet, I usually just leave them on once a week. So every 3 days, sending them something. I think daily is probably too much. But if I'm sending them something on a Tuesday and a Friday, and then a Wednesday and a Saturday or whatever, or a Monday and a Thursday, I don't think that's too much every week to constantly be in their inbox. I mean, you're sending them emails about 100 times a year if there's enough homes in inventory that matches the search criteria. Because remember, it will only send a home that matches search criteria. So if there's 0 properties that match 3+ bedrooms in Charlotte between 200, 300,000, he won't get that email, right? Your lead won't get that information because there's nothing to send them. But if there is something that match, it absolutely will send those listings. And you want to see how frequently you want to send those. So again, if it's someone that's a new lead, I usually put them on twice a week. If it's an active lead and they showed interest and they're like, okay, I have the system check the criteria once a day. And if there's something that matches, I'll send it, especially in this hot market. And again, for any of my clients out there that are looking and trying to find something seriously, I put them on ASAP. I want to be sending them as much stuff as possible, as soon as possible. So that way, as soon as it's the market, it's that email and they'll get that notification. And then all you have to do is hit save and send. I always hit save and send because that will send the email immediately right away. And then you can follow up with those leads. So I'm going to leave Mr. John here on a twice a week. I'm still going to hit save and send because he'll get another email here. I'll show you guys that he's going to get these 6 emails, these listings rather, sent to him here in just a second. And it's interesting that you can also set up 2 different alerts if they're looking in different areas. Maybe they're looking completely different things, like an property versus a home to live in or something like that. And so you have different options here. The whole point is that depending on what status they are, depending on what stage in the process they are, you may want to adjust the frequency that you have here a little bit, again. So if someone's just a prospect, even twice a week or maybe even once a week is probably fine, as long as you're also sending them things like a newsletter. You can also send them market reports by quickly just adding a market report here, So I generally speaking, turn everyone on for market reports. So let me explain this here. On the left side, we have this reports tab under search alerts, campaigns. You have this market report thing. This is going to send market data and info based on the location that your lead is in. If I just type in Charlotte here, and you can send these every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks. I usually do people on every 14 days. I send them a market report. So that's another easy touch to do. Every 14 days is 26 times a year, and that's just easy touches. It's going to send them a nice email that says, hey, here's some stats, here's some data, here's how many listings hit live last week, here's a couple listings you might want to look at. So now if you look at this, I got all green. I got search alerts on. He's been verified. He's got my campaign still running. He's got market reports going, and great. If he responds to anything, he is going to automatically, because I've set up my system in this way, that automatically if he responds to anything, he's going to be switched from new lead to active lead. the system will do that automatically, and it's going to actually take the campaign away. And that's the whole point, guys. You want to send these leads that are coming in digitally as much value as possible. Market report shows them valuable market statistics. Search alert, send them homes that are on the market. Hello, that's what they want to see. That's why they're going to all these different places and websites and Zillow and who knows where. You want to be in their inbox sending them stuff. If they click on stuff or if they respond, it's going to make them active. And then the campaign has done its job too, because maybe they responded to a campaign message. Either way, for any new lead that comes in, this is how it should look. You should have the campaign running, whether you've created it yourself or you have maybe our campaign or you've at least at the bare minimum. I don't think they're good, but the bare minimum, set up the default campaigns from kvCORE. You have something running on a campaign, set up search alerts based on the parameters, either of what they looked at on your website to begin with, or just set them up something in general. So for example, like John, he didn't look at anything yet. He registered as a lead. He didn't actually look at anything after he registered, so I didn't get any information to see kind of what he looked at on my website. So he just kind of signed up and then didn't really do much more than that. But I set him up with something generic just to send him something. So I just said, okay, look, average price point Charlotte's and the, low 300s, maybe a little tad below that. So I'm like, okay, let me send him some stuff for a general search. And if he says, hey, none of these are what I like, and that's his response, then great. Then I know, okay, he's alive, he's real, and okay, well, what am I looking for? So I was just sending you some single family homes. Well, I'm actually really just looking for a condo. Awesome, I can send those now. And I'm gonna go in just the search. And that's what I'm gonna go do is change the search to send them only condos and townhomes, right? And so I'm sending him valuable information, and I can see even that he opened the last email I sent him. Another email is going to be sent in just a second because I just sent an email to him because I sent him a new updated search alert. So he's got all the information. He's getting value. He's getting touches. And guess what, guys? Now, at this point, I'm going to go and call him and follow up and do my thing, right? And I'm going to make sure that I follow up with him. But, beyond that, the automations that are going out, he's being nurtured. And if he responds, I'm going to be the first to know. He's going to change to active lead. And now I know, okay, this guy's not necessarily a time waster. He's worth my follow-up every single week. And you can adjust how you want to follow up that lead. So with that, I'm going to bring up this here again. So guys, I have this setup package here for kvCORE. You can go check learnkv.com. I'll put the link in the chat here for you guys that are watching in the Go-Getters group here. Again, we'll do all of the setup, the profile creation, website optimization, import your leads, set up those custom buyer campaigns that my partner Jay used to sell 1,500 homes, all of this kind of stuff. Service pages will add, mortgage calculator will add, create 30 custom squeeze pages, the whole nine yards. You also get access to my private Facebook group and all of my private training videos that I have that'll walk you through how to do all these things. And the whole point is we also give you the scripts and how to actually follow up. We give you the campaigns, the scripts, the whole nine. And I want to make sure that everyone has access to this. So I'm going to go and put that link down there in the comments. And if you guys want, I'll even put a little code in there for us to use so you can get a discount on it today. So hope that everyone is having a great Thursday. Got a lot of value out of this video and checks it out, on kvCORE. So if you guys have any questions, comment them as always below. I'm always happy to go and check them out in the comments and respond to those at a later time as well. And with that, have a great rest of your week. Go out and crush it, and I'll see you guys next week. What's up, guys? It's Nick. Thanks for checking out my channel. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button because I post so much content on how to dominate the competition digitally. So if you're a real estate agent, an entrepreneur, or a business owner who wants to have better marketing, shoot better videos, and create more sales, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You can connect with me everywhere on social media at Real Nick Macri. And as always, I want you guys to take the value that you learned in this video and implement it into your business right away. So that's all I got to say. Again, thanks for checking out this video, and I'll see you guys on the next video. See ya.